I still can't get 23 through my head. I'm putting 22 on everything.
Oh, if we could call this case Sean, but I don't see him in the courtroom.
Merkel. I don't have a Merkel anywhere. Andrew Merkel is not here. I guess we'll just find it committed, but what do you want to bet I get a letter in 3 days?
Mm-hmm. Or they come bake at the window in the afternoon and ask for a new court.
I know. Anyway, we'll find it committed for right now, but you know. Where does that leave us? Does that leave us with?
Our last case of the morning, and this would be CD 23-602.
A Jimenez and a Sutherland. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
Are you Zoe?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I say your first name okay?
Zoe's my first name.
I know, but people spell Zoe differently.
Oh, yeah.
So I almost called you a Zoe, but that would sound weird, wouldn't it?
People that have known me forever, that's what they call me.
Well, okay. So what about Sutherland? Is she around?
I believe she's
here.
on Zoom.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, right. We already went through this. We saw the coming thing, and then I figured out you were Sutherland. Okay.
Yeah,
Hang on. Let me. Oh, I know. We're just. It's just the world of Zoom. We look at these little squares and we try to figure out who's there, and sometimes people don't answer. Okay, let me look at this again. It's been a while. 2026, 2023. Stepson, next one. Stealing. So this is kind of your relative. Candace is kind of a relative.
She married my brother.
Okay, so, but you don't live with them, do you?
No.
Right, so you came to visit,
Yes.
right? You went over their place to visit.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no actual reason for you to have contact with them necessarily, is there? I mean, is there hard feelings going on right now?
I do not see them often,
Right.
but my brother has children.
Okay,
And so there are events.
right. Well, the thing is, so one of the things that goes on with a no contact order, an anti-harassment order, is there either has to be a pattern of harassment or an assault or threatening behavior, like I'm going to kill you kind of stuff. And so what I'm trying to get a feel for here is, since you don't live with them, if I issue this order, I mean, are you concerned that she's going to try to text you or have contact with you, or what's your concern exactly?
Yeah, there's no telling what she will do. I mean, she pulled the gun on me, my 3-year-old, my 9-year-old.
Right. So you have safety concerns.
Yes.
Okay. So Ms. Sutherland, Ms. Jimenez, I can never say that. Am I close?
You're close.
Okay.
I don't think I say it right.
Well, I had a Mexican girlfriend in Yakima for 3 years. You'd think I could say some of these names right, but I can't. All right. So anyway, Ms. Sutherland.
Your Honor, my last name is actually Cumming.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm sorry. So let's go with Cumming. So, so Ms. Jimenez is worried about a pattern of behavior. In other words, she doesn't want to have any contact with you. And that's it seems to be kind of a difficult situation, because if you all try to get together for family things, that might be difficult to enforce a no contact order. So do you have any thoughts about her request and how we might get this resolved without hurt feelings?
One, yes. And I just wanted to say before I start, I don't know how to start the video, so I'm sorry if you guys can't see me. I'm not trying to do that on purpose.
No, we're with you. We got you. I believe you.
Okay.
Go ahead. So what are your thoughts on how to resolve this thing?
Well, one, I would like to start when it got sent to me was a couple of days before my daughter's graduation, which was in Nia Bay. And I was extremely scared to go there and had to contact people like the police there to make sure it would be okay that I get to go to my daughter's graduation. She's absolutely correct when it comes to like events. I usually don't go on vacation because there's vacations where Zoe and my husband take both of their kids down to California to see someone called Papa, who's Zoe and grandpa or great grandpa, who to whoever you're referring to. And I don't go to those because their mother calls me and says, hey, Zoe don't want you here, and she's threatening not to take the kids. And I would never want to hold a grandma away from their grandchildren. So I just stay home or usually go on another vacation. I know.
Well, so what I'm trying to get at is if Ms. Jimenez is concerned about safety and or harassment, there's a legal basis to issue the order for like, say, a year. But I don't want to do that if you think it's unjustified. If you think what she's saying is untrue, then we probably need to have a hearing on this. So I'm trying to get a feel for this.
I absolutely think it's untrue. The Lacey police even came to our house. And it's not an official police report. It's just a detailed history for a police event, and it has a number. I could send it to the court like in a PDF file, but the police even showed up.
I'm not sure that's necessary. So what I've got here is I've got what appears to be, from what I'm reading, it appears to be an ongoing dispute between you and Ms. Jimenez. Is that about right? There's kind of an ongoing dispute. Is that correct? No. So it's limited in time to like what? When did the dispute?
This one event. Okay. Before that, the last time I seen her was probably over 2 years.
Right. Yeah, so here's part of the problem I'm having is, and I assume you saw this. There's this argument over money. Candace became upset that I wouldn't engage with her. She said they would call the police. I told her to go ahead and do that, and that I would wait right there. She wasn't happy with that response and continuing to yell at me. Shortly after that, she said, "Oh, I'm going to get my money." Then Candace went inside the door and grabbed a large gun. I instantly grabbed my 3-year-old daughter and buckled her into a car seat. My 11-year-old, 17 kids were already in the car seeing all of this. Once my 3-year-old was in the car, I drove away and called 911. So what that is, Ms. Cumming, is that's behavior that amounts to probably a harassment, a misdemeanor harassment, possibly more. I don't see. Right. So the problem. Well, what I'm thinking is, and I'm not trying to insult either of you, because we've got a family situation, but I think I would prefer to issue the order for 1 year that you can't have contact with her. And I'm not doing that to insult you. You know what? Anti-harassment order is not a criminal charge. It's just kind of a civil order that would prohibit you from contacting her. Does that make sense?
I understand. Can I say my side of the story and then show
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. I would love to hear.
I actually have that police thing that I was talking about. The police actually
right.
They went and spoke with our neighbors, and they believed my side of the story, and that's what they put. And they looked at their Zoom cameras. They said that they didn't see a gun, and at the end of the report, it says first RP, which if you read the report refers to Zoe as the first one.
Right.
That showed a video of her leaving the scene and no guns were observed.
But hang on, that brings up something else. Are you both living in Clallam County? Where are you living?
I live in Clallam County.
So, and where do you live, Ms. Cumming?
I live in Lacey, Washington, or Thurston.
Okay, right. So I understand what you're saying, and I get that. And so let me explain to you how a civil matter works a little bit. Whether or not criminal charges were filed external to this doesn't really matter. If I believe, and I tend to believe, that there's some behavior that arises to the level of disorderly conduct and or harassment type stuff, then I've got a situation that calls for the imposition of an order. And all that order does is it prohibits you from making contact with Ms. Jimenez for the next year. That's the way I want to get this resolved. I understand that you believe the allegations are untrue, but my particular concern is that it meets the legal threshold for the imposition of an order. And all that really means, the consequence to you is you just can't make contact with Ms. Jimenez. You can't text her, you can't call her, you can't go to her house. Now, this is addressed to both of you. I don't know what to do about family events. I've never been in this situation where I couldn't have contact with a sister-in-law or somebody, so I don't know how that works. But I would strongly recommend both ladies to keep doing what you're doing, which is apparently you're trying to avoid each other. right? I mean, both of you are trying to avoid each other.
Correct.
So yes, Ms. Cumming, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I try to avoid her. I didn't know that she was actually coming over to our house. I was at work when
Right.
she.
Well, so here's I'm just going to give you a little perspective from
There was no gun involved, and I never got to say
and the reason why I know that's true, what you're saying is true, is because there's no arrest report for a gun. So I got that part. But I'm going to tell you a little prosecutor's perspective, because I spent 15 years of my life being a prosecutor. When there's a dispute over money and somebody says, and I'm not accusing you of anything, I'm trying to give you an example. If somebody says, oh, I'm going to get my money, in some jurisdictions, a prosecutor would interpret that as a threat, and that possibly sometimes becomes a robbery if you threaten somebody about money. So what my advice to you is, if you get into a dispute like this with somebody, the smartest thing you can do is just back right out. Just turn around.
I tried to call the police. I walked back into the house. I was on my front porch. I walked back into my house, calling the police. She grabbed her phone out, started videoing me, and said, gun, 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 gun. And that's
I know. So, but here's the thing.
And the police actually said they were going to file charges of false 911 reporting on her. I'm sorry.
And so it goes back to what I said earlier. I don't have any evidence of any crime being filed, and I'm not actually concerned with criminal filings, because that's not in front of me, and it might, if it's down in Lacey or something, it wouldn't be in front of me anyway. But anyway, so I'm finding that there's a basis for a no contact order of 1 year. And that just means that you can't go out of your way to contact her. And I don't know how either one of you is going to handle family things. I mean, so it kind of works both ways, Ms. Cummings. Like if she was trying to contact you to bait you into doing something, the order is against you, so you cannot make contact with her. So you're both in a better position if you really leave each other alone. Is that your dad with you?
Yeah.
It's really a good thing to just not do any or say anything that provokes an argument. But I'm going to issue the order for 1 year, Ms. Cumming, and that's not a personal insult to you. I just think it's best for this situation.
Would it affect it going to affect my criminal, my criminal record? Because I don't
know. It shows up on your record as the imposition of you are a respondent in a 1 year anti-harassment order. And so it's not a criminal violation of any kind. It's what's called a civil order. And they're specifically designed by the legislature to prohibit contact in exactly a situation like this that could get out of control. In other words, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had another question.
Yes.
Her oldest daughter and my youngest son, or my youngest child, are really good friends on this app called Snapchat. Is that going to make it look like I'm trying to contact her family members? Or
no. I can't, and you understand this, Ms. Jimenez, I don't have any control over the kids. If they're talking on Snapchat, that doesn't concern us.
I like them talking.
And she likes your child talking to her child anyway. So no, if somebody brought that to me, Ms. Cumming, and said, hey, her kid is contacting the other kid via Snapchat, I would not assume that you were behind that. Okay. That would not be a conclusion I would reach. Okay. So I think you're safe. But both of you, if you could just please leave each other alone for next year, so I don't have to hear about this anymore. Can I get that? I'm old.
Don't let any contact with her.
It's okay. I don't think she really wants contact with you either. We're just trying to make sure nothing more happens. We don't want any yelling at the car. We don't want any nasty texts. We don't want any arguments on the porch. We don't want Judge Hannafy in Forks doesn't want to hear a thing but quiet, peace and quiet. How about that? Ms. Cumming, your connection is very good on Zoom. Are you a Zoom pro?
No.
Well, you did a good job. I'm going to sign an order for 1 year that you can't initiate contact.
I had one more question. I understand your order, but
yes.
As you've seen in her thing, when she says that I accused her son of stealing, Have you
Yeah.
ever, in your 15 years of prosecution, have you ever seen someone that didn't steal something or pay it back?
Well, you see, now this is where we get into that gray zone, is that the judge here and most police officers don't get into arbitrating arguments on theft. Either a crime was committed or not. I'm assuming no allegation of theft is just turned into a criminal charge. So as far as I'm concerned, no crime was committed. Whether or not the alleged theft gets worked out, does somebody get paid back? I have no idea. But I can tell you that I'm concerned about people, the hard feelings in this one, people having temper flares and whatever kinds of feelings people have in families that tend to be more intense than normal. I want you two ladies to leave you alone. And also, if you feel harassed in any way, you can always ask for an anti-harassment order of your own. If somebody is mouthing off to you or harassing you, you should feel comfortable to go to court and go get your own order. So what I'm trying to do is trying to keep you both away from each other for a year if I can get it done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you, father, or whatever, mother, whoever all you people are. See everybody, hopefully not for a year.
I don't know how to turn.
Court would be adjourned.
If you want to come back after
Oh.
lunch, you have to order.
Yes,
something.
you want to come back. Sorry.
There wasn't one in the car.